Twilight Imperium is a space opera, and like most works in that vast and storied genre, it has its fair share of superweapons. Now, a superweapon isn't just an ordinary device of destruction. Superweapons are capable of creating devastation on a massive scale. The presence of even one of these weapons can easily shift the balance in nearly any conflict. So it's my intention in this video to rank the top 10 most destructive of these weapons in order of their theoretical power ceiling. So while the Singularity Reactor of the Ghosts of Creus is likely more powerful than any weapon on this list, it won't make an appearance, seeing as it's not necessarily destructive. Also, these are the lore versions of these weapons, which may look slightly different from their in-game counterparts. Alright, I hope that all makes sense. Now, on to some honorable mentions. Now, the Ixthian artifact, discovered in the old deep far below Mechatol City, almost definitely breaks my rule on only including weapons on this list. Because we don't know if the artifact was a weapon, I'd feel bad putting it on the list. That said, it is likely the single most destructive object that we know of in universe, so I feel it deserves at least an honorable mention. It had the potential to glass Mechatol, with devastating shockwaves being experienced in all the adjacent systems. If that isn't super, I don't know what is. Additionally, it is under the care of the Galactic Council, meaning someone politically savvy enough and mad enough could, with a few well-placed votes, bring the seat of the galaxy's government to its knees using the artifact. So, I definitely feel it could be considered a weapon. The next two honorable mentions are both flagships, so try to take a guess which ones. Alright, let's see if you were right. First, the Alistair. While not a traditionally powerful ship, the Alistair makes up for that with its unique polymorphic field generators. These fields reprogram all nearby Necro installations, adapting them from purely ground units to legions of drone ships. This means anywhere the Alistair goes, a black gibbering wave of death follows. Finally, there's the Lonkara Sodu. This ship almost made the list, as its 3 deep space cannons make it an absolute terror, even when it's not present on the battlefield. But that said, another faction's flagship simply outperformed, meaning the Peace Turtles only earn an honorable mention, so better luck next time to them. But now, we're on to our list of the top 10 superweapons in the Twilight Imperium universe. Starting us off, we have the Mamoya II, flagship of the Nomads' mercenary fleet. Often present on 2, 3, 4, even 5 sides of the galaxy simultaneously, this temporal anomaly-made warship can turn the tide of nearly any battle. Outfitted with powerful anti-fighter defenses, as well as some of the strongest guns in the galaxy, the Mamoya II is a fleet unto itself, and this is made even more true when it's accompanied by quantum manipulator mechs, which use their temporal shielding to redirect hits away from the Mamoya. This hardiness and firepower, coupled with the Nomad's prescience, means the Mamoya II has never lost a battle, although witnesses have reported otherwise on a few occasions. But let's be real, there's no way the Nomad could just be rebuilding the ship, right? The crown of Thalnos is not just a fashionable piece of headwear. Built long ago by a long-dead Lazak's warlord, the crown is a protective halo of satellites, outfitted with enough ordnance to be capable of destroying an entire fleet. When deployed around a planet, the Crown served as quite the deterrent, but when used offensively, the results could be far more impressive. Records of the Crown's use speak of fleets of dreadnoughts cut to ribbons by beams of energy coming from a nigh undetectable cloud of space junk. Most didn't even know the Crown was there until it was too late. However, offensive use of the Crown came at a price. The satellites had to be powered by the mass drives of the ships that carried them, often leaving said ships completely undefended should the Crown fail to hit its mark. The Crown of Thalnos has since been lost to time, though it is said fragments of the system's blueprints have been found, scattered throughout the dusty archives of minor worlds. For anyone who's ever played as the Embers of Muat in Twilight Imperium, this entry shouldn't be surprising. The Mark II prototype Warsons are beasts, able to eviscerate fleets and bombard defenses into dust. These are without a doubt the largest and most well-armed ships in the galaxy, with cannons powerful enough to shatter planetary shields. Further, they're equipped with advanced mass drives, making them the fastest thing on this list, and it also means one never knows where they might end up striking. Finally, with an artificial star as their core, these Warsons can even power the great forges of the Gashly. They can quite literally generate entire fleets as they sail through the starways. It would be hard to find any ship more destructive than a Mark II prototype Warson. But, considering this is only number 8, I think we can do it. It is said no brothers are more devoted to the Yin than those who serve aboard the Vangag. Only the most zealous are chosen to crew the flagship of the Yin Navy, to serve as exemplars of the Brotherhood's code of values to the rest of the fleet. However, there is another, darker reason only zealots are found aboard the Vangag. Entombed at the heart of that hulking warship lies the largest impulse core ever constructed. Whispers of Darian's wrath can be heard among the faithful aboard the ship, whispers of a spiritual fire sent to cleanse. No official measurements have been made, but if reports can be believed, the Vangag is nothing more than the galaxy's largest suicide bomb, capable of clearing an entire system of enemy ships, and quite likely capable of far, far more. As such, it certainly deserves its spot on this list, considering how large of an explosion it would take to empty a system of ships. Hailing from a dimension beyond any currently known, the Volwraith Cabal brought with them to the galaxy incredible and unpredictable technologies, unlike anything seen before. And chief among these was the Dimensional Anchor, a great, twisted thing, half alive and half other. This monstrosity, known to the Cabal as it feeds on carrion, could open great gates within the hearts of gravity rifts, allowing Volwraith flesh ships to pour from the fissures. When operating at its full power, however, the creature could harness the power of the rifts themselves, pulling anything nearby into the hungry maw of the Cabal. Now, if this anchor was limited to only one gravity rift, it would be a danger, but it would not be on this list. However, it feeds on carrion, can weaponize every rift in the galaxy at once, devouring countless fleets in mere moments. Now luckily, the energy required for such a feat would be astronomical, so it's unlikely any such thing will ever be attempted by the Cabal. But the potential is there, and many in the galaxy believe the day is coming when the Volwraith will use this dimensional anchor to cripple the militaries of the galaxy. Following the fall of the Mahakt kings, the Lazaks outlawed any practices tied to the gene sorcery of their enemy. Cloning, genetic manipulation, and many other such sciences were outright banned, as was the creation of bioweaponry. However, during the Age of Dusk, the Hylar of Jolnar began to work in secret on exactly that, biological warfare. Shortly before the bombing of Mechatol and the fall of the Lazaks, a breakthrough came. Called X-35, it was a bacterial agent able to kill nearly any living thing in the known galaxy. Used only minimally through the Twilight Wars, due to its uncontrollable nature, X-35 was eventually scrapped, seen as too dangerous to be used. But that's not the end of the story. Following the emergence of the L1Z1X and the beginning of the Custodial Wars, the Hylar again began experimenting with X-35 and its derivatives at their top-secret Black Trench facility. It was Dr. Succuban who had the breakthrough, and the X-89 bacterial weapon was born. Able to survive being fired at a planet from orbit, X-89 could also be genetically programmed to only kill members of a specific race, making it effective and a controllable weapon at last. With it, clearing a planet of any hostile force is easier than ever. However, something about genocide on a planetary scale tends to make the use of X-89 rare, because you don't win elections by demonstrating your willingness to kill the population of an entire planet. When we arrived at the colony, we found it, and one whole hemisphere of the planet scoured down to ash and bedrock, as if hit by some giant solar flare. That was a description of the devastation left in the wake of Captain Agaro's First Fleet, following his use of the legendary Armageddon Relay. The relay is a series of power circuit rings, rigged together in the asteroid heart of Agaro's floating factory. When brought online, these circuits create a positive feedback loop, generating what is essentially an artificial solar flare. This weapon can fry small, unshielded spacecraft, but the true devastation of the Armageddon Relay is felt on the planet's surface. The relay's energy beam can burn entire planets, leaving them charred deserts and blackened wastelands. Like X-89, however, the relay doesn't see much use, due to how unpopular such destruction would be in the Galactic Council. No sci-fi setting would be complete without a planet-destroying superweapon, and Twilight Imperium has the Stellar Converter, able to concentrate and scatter a power great enough to envelop a star. The converter can easily crack planets in two. This massive energy cannon was lost during the last days of the war between the Mahakt and the Lazaks, but whispers of the weapon's whereabouts abound, and many empires have sent out expeditions in search for it, with no luck yet. It's really no surprise that the Embers of Muat appear twice on this list. The Gashlai are master craftsmen, and as such have created more than their fair share of superweapons. The greatest of these resides aboard the prototype Warson Tartarus, under the watchful command of Adjudicator Bale. The Novaseed is a concentrated singularity, which, when launched into the depths of a star, triggers its gravitational collapse. Then, it's only a matter of moments before the entire system is enveloped in a roiling supernova. Envoys from the Galactic Council were invited to watch a test of the Novaseed's use on an uninhabited system deep in the Mahakt Plateau, and all were horrified just to see how easily the Gashly could, at a moment's notice, completely destroy any star system in the galaxy. No weapon on this list is as terrifying or as utterly destructive as the gene sorcery of the Mahakt. The Volwraith can eat entire fleets, the Embers can destroy entire systems, but the gene sorcerers can do something far more sinister. Able to command the obedience of any living thing, the Archon of Command, Arrow Shear Hour, is a walking weapon. His benediction can drive allied armies against one another in an instant, and with a single word, he can easily take control of any weapon on this list. So while he himself can't destroy a system or wipe out all life on a planet, he can make others do it for him. And that's why his benediction is number 1 on this list. It is as powerful as all the previous superweapons put together. Well, I hope you enjoyed this list of the top 10 superweapons in the TI universe. I really enjoyed putting it together and trying to come up with good, lore-based ways these weapons could work. As often as possible, I tried to keep the lore explanation consistent with in-gaming mechanics, such as X-89 only killing enemy units on a planet and not the whole population. However, some of them, such as the Armageddon Relay, simply couldn't be perfectly fit into the game, and in those cases, I tried to be as true to the lore as possible. Well, cheers! I hope to see you in the next video.